In any given moment, we're either fully present, like right now, we're in the flow, you're using your breath, you're fully present on this moment, or you're lost in thought. And those thoughts are either serving your inner peace, or the thoughts are absolutely destroying your inner peace, and you've got not nice thoughts, and you're letting those thoughts manifest, repeat themselves over and over again, and you're beating yourself up in your head. That's pretty much life right there.
How do I increase my level of self-awareness? What tools do you follow?
I'd go with meditation and journaling and do one after the other. So do meditation first, then journal afterwards.
How and why? What's been happening?
Normal routine, really. After the new year, with 2 children under the age of 3, it's all about routine. And it's very much, I think I might have mentioned this in the last episode, it's like Groundhog Day. That, in terms of family life, is pretty much the same. The snow, it felt like lockdown, especially in our cars.
Yeah.
I didn't go out. So when it snowed here in the UK for 5 days, in fact, my car was sat in the driveway for 7 days, didn't touch it.
No,
I was like, I'm not going anywhere in that car.
It's not worth it, is it?
Not worth it. So I had to use my wife's car. My son didn't like going out in the snow. Like, he just didn't like running on it and stuff. So
coward.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We played in the back garden, but it was pointless going to the park and stuff. So it actually felt like lockdown for a few days. So it's like, I need to get out. How about yourself?
I started at a new gym, and it became very apparent after day 2 that it wasn't what they told me it was going to be, which was quite annoying. They said it's a 3-month commitment. It's going to be, open gym, because it's 10 minutes away from my house. They've got all the facilities that I need there. Fantastic. Great. The focus of the classes is all centered around, performing better, functional fitness, etc. And then they sent the programming out, and it was all literally just Olympic lifting, which is what I'm trying to avoid at the moment. Heavy overloads and what have you, because I'm back playing tennis now and want to get back into football again and all that good stuff. Then they just said, open gym just isn't going to be happening anymore. I was like, oh, right. Well, you've just sold me something the day before and you've changed all the terms the day after. So I said, I'd like a refund and you're not interested in continuing, but thanks, but no thanks. And I said, it's a 3-month commitment though. I said, but I won't be here. I've been here for 2 days. And also I'd like a refund of the money that I've actually paid. We're doing all we can here. I tell you what, we'll waive the 3-month commitment. I was like, well, fine. I'm not taking up someone's spot. It's weird. The whole service around it was shocking, to be honest. And that the way they went about everything else was just so amateurish. And if we signed up a client, for instance, and let's say we did 1 session with them, and after, I don't know, a week or so, they said, look, I'm really sorry, I've changed my mind. Could I get a refund? No, mate, you've signed up for 4 months. What are you talking about? You're going to take someone's money for a service that they're not providing.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. So I know that, don't get me wrong, if you were to book out a hotel, a few months in advance, for instance, and you just didn't go, I'm not expecting a full refund because they could have filled the room. But this isn't a space that I'm taking up of somebody else.
No.
So it doesn't make any sense. So I gave them that feedback, went around the houses loads of different times, and they said, as per our terms and conditions. And I thought, we don't want to go down this rabbit hole. My partner's a corporate lawyer, and she looks at contracts every day, and your contract's got many holes in it because you laid out this plan to me, and then this is what you actually delivered. So your terms and conditions are actually accurate if we're going to be dickheads about it.
Yeah.
It was just so frustrating. But it led me back to my former personal trainer and my former gym that I'm going to go to and do that alongside more tennis and stuff like that. And
nice.
That'll be great for me. I'm looking forward to that. And last week I was just ill all week. Horrendous. Full of cold.
Man flu.
I think so. Yeah. Low energy, coughing, spluttering, headaches, tiredness. So I moved most of the client calls and what have you. But even then, when you're feeling like shit, you can still find things to be grateful for.
Oh, of course. No.
So, there's so many people out there that are ill that don't have the resources, the support, the mindset even to accept your reality. So many people are just walking around like zombies, coughing and spluttering and moaning and complaining. It was a bit annoying, don't get me wrong. Would I have preferred to be full fitness and, just starting the new year and getting all that momentum going? Of course. Of course I want to do that. I don't want to be cancelling client calls. I don't want to be cancelling calls with our coach and what have you, and moving things around. But yeah, and not being able to record content and all that stuff. So it's quite debilitating in that sense. But equally, I also love that because it means I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to take sick leave or get punished for it. So yeah, that's the benefit of it too.
You have to put your sick note into me.
I know, yeah.
Don't tell me.
Answer to man like big mayonnaise. Other than that, all good, mate. So should we dive in?
Yeah. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny.
Aristotle.
I don't know why I had Alex Hormozy in my head then. I don't know why. He's probably said something very similar to that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course he has.
Most quotes come from Greek mythology or the Bible or Buddhism, don't they? So yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that. But what I've taken out of it is I try to simplify things and strip it back, not only for myself, but to be able to help others understand it and apply it. And it comes down to what we've said many times, which is be intentional with what you're doing. Do it repetitively over and over again so you can get better. But like I said, everything comes down to time and choices.
Yeah.
So be wise with both. And you're always one decision away from changing everything. And if you've had a poor decision this morning with your breakfast choice or a missed workout because you were up too late last night, that's 2 poor choices. You've stayed up late last night and then you've not gone to the gym. So if you did stay up late last night, you could have gone to the gym. So therefore you've rectified the previous poor choice. If you go to the gym, that's a good one. And then you do a average workout. Well, it's better than doing no workout. Then let's say you go upstairs to the gym cafe, if there is one, for instance, and then you have a fry up. Then you've just made another poor choice. So at lunchtime, can you have the salad? Again, providing the goal is weight loss, for instance. So yeah, I think that the choices piece is all we have. And you're always just one away from making a different result for yourself, right?
Yeah, it's something which is always inside of your control, is choice. I think it's having that level of awareness as well. Because when I make poor choices, because I journal every morning, I'll think back and go, and I'll just quickly, it might just be a paragraph, I'll just journal on it. I could have done that better. That was a poor choice. You know, I'm doing like a variation of like, not 75 hard, I've called it 75 reset. It's my
floppy.
75 floppy. There is a soft version, you know. I didn't know this when I was looking around. There's 75 hard and then there's 75 soft. And I didn't know, I know.
Fucking hell.
I looked at a variation of it. But the thing is, with 75 hard, it's 2 workouts a day. My reality right now, with 2 children under the age of 3, that's just not doable. And trying to run a business as well at the same time. No. So I thought, well, okay, what can I take from 75 hard and adapt it to my lifestyle that I could, which is still going to be challenging, but achieve it. Anyway, one of those things is bed by 9 p.m. Last week, there was a couple of evenings where that didn't happen. It was 20 past 9. But I think just reflecting on it, what could I do? That question in the evening or in the morning, what could you do better today? It's having that level of awareness, and it always comes back to choice.
It's the subtlety of the word could rather than should.
Should.
Because should is very judgmental.
Yeah.
I should have gone to the gym yesterday, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So you can either keep playing that over and over in your mind and punishing yourself, or you can say, I didn't go to the gym yesterday. I could have done, but today I get to. Or today I'm deciding to, or today I'm deciding to do a walk instead. You know, and depending on the goal. When you're starting out with anything in self-development or training for an event or what have you, everyone thinks of it like you go, Simon Sinek was talking about this, if you go to the gym and you do a 20-minute workout, you'll see nothing. If you go for 2 weeks and do 20 minutes a day of working out, you won't see a great deal. If you do it for 6 months, you could just change your life. You know, when I was listening to the Daily J on the Calm app, you know, the compound interest of habits, I think it said something like, if you walked, I can't remember the exact figure, so I'm maybe misquoting it slightly, but I think it was if you do 10,000 steps a day walking, that's the equivalent in distance of, I think, 27 marathons. So granted, it's not running, but if you were to say to someone at the start of the year, you're going to complete 27 marathons this year, albeit at a slower pace, you go, no chance. 10K steps a day, which is still quite challenging at times, right? You know, depending on your day and, again, work, kids, car journeys, you know, it doesn't have to be every single day, but if you endeavour to do 7,000 or 8,000, for instance, even then that's going to compound into a better day. So it's avoiding the societal pressures and the musts and the have-tos of, you know, because that's just a marketing tool, right? 10K steps. It just sounds good. It's the same when we get into coaching, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hit my first 10K month. Why?
Because it's the thing.
Exactly. You
Who said
have
it
the
was?
best life ever at 6K a month. Because you don't necessarily need or require the pressure to deliver 10K a month of the feast and famine mindset. Maybe it's 6. And maybe that's the absolute sweet spot of what you're willing to do outside of the coaching, because you're going to have to do more marketing to compensate, etc. But anyway, as you guys know, we are getting into more of a Q&A style when it comes to the podcast. So, well, some of you may know, some of you may be new to the podcast. If that's the case, then welcome. But we've asked our current clients, we've asked former clients, we've asked listeners like yourselves to provide some questions. And we're just going to cover, you know, as many helpful topics that are relatable to different subjects around self-development each week. And we've got some fantastic ones this week, don't we?
We do. Shall I begin?
Yeah. Well,
So-
in fact, I'll ask you the first one,
Okay.
because I think this is more your remit than it is mine. So, what role does self-awareness play in achieving peak performance? And how can someone develop their self-awareness further?
I think it's the foundation. It's absolutely essential, self-awareness. They have to have the self-awareness to know how good you're doing, but also you do need someone external to tell you as well.
Just on that, would you say initially though, because how would one become self-aware? If you're drinking too much, you're not achieving your goals physically, you might be a little bit behind at work. Do you think that it needs to be prompted externally, or do you think it's through experience? Let's say you're overweight.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to run 5K in under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you go out for your first 5K of the year and you're looking at 40. That's an experience, right?
Yeah.
If you're at work and you're not performing to the best of your ability, you might not know until your boss says, by the way, your performance lately has gone downhill. So that's external interference.
But he could choose to ignore that.
In the first instance.
In the first instance, yeah. They'll make a change. Someone will make a change when the pain outruns the pleasure. So, but they'll become aware of that pain, that now it's overdoing the pleasure, because they could have their family, their wives, people telling to them, you need to change, you need to do this, you need to lose weight, whatever, you need to do X, Y, Z. But they could choose to ignore it. Oh no, I'm fine. So it's only when their behavior, they keep repeating that behavior, that then they're still in pain, but it's not pleasurable anymore. Then they'll become aware to go, oh fuck, I really do feel like shit, for example. I need to make changes.
That's what intelligence is though, isn't it? Sometimes it's intellect, sometimes it's low self-worth, I think. This is a really interesting subject because Joe Bloggs has just been told by his partner, if you keep drinking, I'm leaving you. Okay. So he might have the intellect to understand it, but he might not have the self-esteem or self-belief to change it. I don't believe it comes down to the desire of, oh, fuck her, I can't be bothered anyway. I really don't. I think it's that I don't feel deserving of the outcome. Deep down.
Yeah.
Surface level, around the boys, it might be, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
For instance, I don't think anyone really, if you were to hook them up to a lie detector test, is going to want to remain miserable if it's causing harm to the family around the drinking in this instance.
Yeah.
So I think that the intellect part, though, is, you know, it's kind of like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Intellectually, you know.
Yeah.
It's whether you feel like you're worthy of the change or the desired end outcome when it comes to a pain point.
Yes.
Let's assume, for example, we're not talking about Joe Blogs that is not interested in self-development and doesn't want to change. Let's imagine, because most people aren't like that if they're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, okay.
That was just an example. I'm a high performer. I'm in a good career. I've got a nice car. I've got a nice home. Family life is okay. I probably could be more present. I probably could do more at the gym. How do I increase my level of self-awareness? What tools do you follow?
I'd go with meditation and journaling and do one after the other. So do meditation first, then journal afterwards.
How and why?
The meditation is going to help you to come back to the present moment, but it also creates pauses in your life so then you can self-reflect and become aware of things. Because we're not born to be self-aware. You do have to train yourself to do it. And from my own experience, that has come from meditation, journaling, and obviously reading like self-help books, having journal prompts, and then reflecting on, okay, if for something like philosophy, like Stoic philosophy, am I doing that? That's what's expected in Stoic philosophy, a way of life to live. Am I living to that virtue?
How does one meditate though? If we were to really strip it back, because we work with a lot of high performing individuals, right? They've got the 6-figure salary, they've got the house, they've got the car, they're doing really well. And then we introduce them to meditation and they don't even know what we're talking about. They know it as a concept.
Yeah.
But for people that are listening that don't even know how to, air quote, meditate, how do you physically do it? What do you physically do to meditate?
You're going to get the incense sticks out, mate. You're going to
chant Kumbaya.
Kumbaya. You're going to sit there and do this. Yeah. You're going to light the candles and get all whatever. No, that's all nonsense. You can do all those things if you want to. It is literally focusing on one thing, and that is your breath or a body part.
But go even further. Let's imagine I'm an alien.
Okay.
For this, the premise of this exercise, and you need to explain to me what meditation is and how I do it step by step.
Okay.
Because you won't go into a gym as a personal trainer and just go, oh, deadlifting. You just pick it up and just lift it up, mate, would you?
Yeah.
Right. So what people need to do if they want to get into meditation?
I'd say you need to sit comfortably. Don't lie down. So just like we're sat in the chair now, but I'd sit upwards so your back's straight, but not rigid. Try to limit any distractions, so get your phone out of sight and things like that. Keep your back straight, but not too rigid. Keep your head up. If you imagine that there is a piece of string attached to your head and it's sort of like pulling you up like that, okay? So you've got good airway breaths going in and out. You can sit with your legs crossed if you want. You don't have to. You can just sit how you're sat right now, how we're sat like this. And then all you're going to do is then just close your eyes. Thoughts are going to be going all over the place. But as you close your eyes, you're then going to bring your awareness to your breath, of how you're breathing. And a great way to start is just to start with 3 deep breaths. So take a deep breath in through your nose and then breathe out through your mouth. Do that 3 times. And then let your breathing return back to normal rhythm. Just breathing in, breathing out. And you're going to glue all of your attention to that breath. Now, what is going to happen is, especially if you've never meditated before, thoughts going to come in. Am I doing this right? What the hell is he talking about? I feel stupid. That email, I need to get back to that email. I can hear the children downstairs. All this stuff's going to start going through your head, which is great. That's what we want. Perfect. Those are the ingredients, what we call ingredients. The thought is just a thought. What you need to do when that thought comes in is just label it as thought. So let's say you start breathing, sort of breathing in, breathing out. Thought comes in. You then just label it as thought and then return back to the breath. There's loads of different techniques that you can do to get into the rhythm of the breathing. For example, breathe in, then count 1. This is just in your mind. You don't say it out loud. Breathing in. So actually you can say to yourself, breathing in, 1. Breathing out, 2. Breathing in, 1. So you just get into that rhythm. And you're going to do that for 10 minutes and keep returning back to the breath.
Would you say 10 minutes as a starting point? Personally, I see 10 minutes as a starting point, similar to...
Trying to run a marathon.
I'd
5K.
say maybe even trying to run 5-10K though.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't run, if you haven't done it before. So my only interjection there, because everything you said was perfect, I think, you know, it's nailed it. It's probably 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
I think if you're just starting out, just do like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
2 minutes. If you've never done it before, it's going to feel a bit weird because you probably never, this is a bit odd. And you might even start to fall asleep. That's not the objective, by the way. Yeah. So that's why I say don't do it lying down, because you will probably most likely fall asleep.
Yeah.
We don't want to get you into sleep stage.
So that's the what, and that's also the how. Why? Why do we meditate, or why is it so important for someone that's, you know, again, average Joe blogs, going about the day? Why would you meditate?
This is going to help you with a number of different things. What we're doing right now, we're having a conversation and we're responding to each other talking. When you go about your day, all you're doing in every moment is responding to things. Whether that's to a text message, whether that's to an alert, whether that's having a conversation with someone, you're absorbing content into your brain, you're making sense of it, and then you're responding to it, or you're reacting. So obviously they're two different things. And it's your choice whether you want to respond or react. Like, you could just overtalk me now, you could do whatever, you could stand up, you could start doing anything, yeah? What the meditation does is a number of different things. It helps you to become more self-aware and then make a choice of how you want to respond to something in your environment, and you can choose to respond. So that breath, when you're focusing on your breath and you're breathing in and counting 1 and breathing out and counting 2, there's a little pause. In fact, Viktor Frankl, there's a quote on this that Viktor Frankl said, that space in between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies your freedom and your growth. I might have just butchered his quote there, but it's so important, because that pause in the meditation, you can take that with you every day in your life, and you can use that pause when you hear any news, when you get a phone call, when you feel stress building up in your body. You can go and you can choose how you want to respond. That subtle pause is so important. Most people are just getting knee-jerked around by external things. When I say knee-jerked around, what their boss is saying, the weather, what's going on with the Labour government right now, the news, they're getting so frustrated with all these things that are outside of their control. What the meditation is going to do is help you to be more centered, but also respond to things that are happening externally and internally, thoughts, respond to them in a healthy way that serves you and what you're in control over, instead of just getting knee-jerked around. So overall, it can help to reduce the stress, reduce your anxiety. It can help to become more self-aware, which is something that we're talking about. And it will also help you to be more present, because most people are not in the present moment. Their thoughts take them out of the present moment, and they're either thinking about a future or they're thinking about the past. And I believe that this has taken years of meditation to understand this, that we don't live in years. Yes, there's a day. Yes, there's a 24-hour clock and I'm wearing a watch and I know all that. But we live in moments. Right now, this is a moment. We're having a moment. I don't know if you're listening to every word that I'm saying. You look like you are, but you might not be. I've got no idea what's going on in your mind. I've got no idea. Like, when maybe you're going to shut up talking so I can have a word. Yeah, I don't know. It could be anything.
No.
So, but in any...
Ironically, I'm focusing on my breath to stay centered.
Exactly. So you're using it right now. Yeah, that's the power of it. But in any given moment, we're either fully present, like right now, we're in the flow, you're using your breath, you're fully present on this moment, or you're lost in thought. And those thoughts are either serving your inner peace, you're inviting gratitude, or you just got a thought about maybe what you're going to have for lunch or whatever. There's just nice thoughts. All the thoughts are absolutely destroying your inner peace, and you've got not nice thoughts, and you're letting those thoughts manifest, repeat themselves over and over again, and you're beating yourself up in your head. That's it. That's pretty much life right there. Yeah. So we live in moments, and you're either fully present in the moment, or you're lost in thought, and the thoughts are either serving your inner peace or they're destroying it.
For some
and your
people,
thoughts won't stop until you're dead. When you're dead.
Yeah, it's that. It's that singular breath sometimes can make all the difference between an argument forming and not. And this is why I think so many people attach positivity to alcohol and also to smoking. A lot of people do vaping now. You know, the new sexy way to get lung cancer is through a candy floss stick, for instance, you know. And people go, oh, it relaxes me. It doesn't.
No,
when you smoke, you do about 15 deep breaths. Granted, you're consuming all the nicotine and all the rest of it with it, but you are taking a big deep breath. So, and you're outside most of the time. So you've got air quote fresh air by being outside, but then you're doing deep breaths. No wonder you feel relaxed. When you take a sip of alcohol and you go, like how many times do you think people do that throughout the course of the day? People do it in a negative way by sighing.
Yeah.
Different. It's so different as opposed to feel relaxed. Big difference. Not only in the positive chemicals that you're sending to your brain, but also without avoiding putting the shit into your body too. So you can do it in a more natural way. And it's helped me with small things like when I'm playing tennis. If I hit a shot and it goes out, I'm not going, oh, for fuck's sake anymore. It's, if I hit a really bad shot, I actually laugh now.
Yeah,
which is really useful.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Okay, I'm not playing in Wimbledon. There's not much on the line here. It's not my livelihood. I'm just playing with a mate. Do I need to go, oh, fucking hell, and make it unpleasant for both of us?
But you used to do that. But through self-development, through meditation, journaling and everything else,
awareness,
you've got an awareness. You've now become aware that doesn't serve you. That responding to something like that when you make a mistake, and it probably goes back to childhood and everything else, that actually responding to something like that when you make a mistake or it's a bad shot in tennis, normally, previously I would have just kicked off and said, oh, fucking hell, that is not serving your inner peace.
No.
But now you're more curious. Why was that a bad shot? Oh, I'll just have a laugh now, but actually I'm just gonna make a mental note. Was it my wrist? Was it the action on the tennis? What was it? Was my foot out of place? You want to learn from it.
Yeah, that's the difference. I know why now, and this is the beauty of having a coach for tennis as well. He knows when I know, because when I first started, I'd hit a bad shot and he'd go, do you know why that was bad? And I've played the game for, I don't know, since I was 6 to an okay level. But better than most people that are walking around the street, for instance, you know, but did you know why that was a bad shot? And I was like, was it this? And he's like, no. Oh, okay. After a few lessons I was working with him, I'm like, I know now why, because again, like you said, position of the racket, or I twisted my wrist too much, or not enough, or my footwork was incorrect. Go, cool, I've got another point to go at now. I've got another opportunity with my next shot. It makes all the difference, because I see players that are playing on other courts and they're beating themselves. They're the better player by a distance. But the other player is just focusing on returning it and returning it and returning it and waiting for them to make a mistake. And then they do, and they go, oh, fucking hell. And it's like, okay, if I return enough shots now, you're going to do it again. And you're going to get more annoyed at yourself. And you're going to try even more outrageous shots, which is going to only feed into my game. It's so interesting. But even then, when I was making food the other night, and Becky has a tendency not to put the lid on things properly. And she'd just filled up the salt shaker. So good, you know, grinding it down and all that stuff. And I just gently placed it on the countertop. Because it wasn't on properly, it came off and the whole thing emptied on the floor. And I just went, okay. So cleaned it all up, And then I got out my other seasoning, like this onion and garlic mixed salt, which is really nice. And it was completely my fault. I just took the lid off and dropped it. 30 seconds after just spending a few minutes cleaning up the salt, and I just thought, sure, like why not? Yeah, of course. Just laughed about it. So finding a little bit of humour in your fuck-ups and your idiosyncrasies and your mistakes can also be really freeing. Yeah. And this is coming from someone that would smash tennis rackets into 3 pieces off one shot and shout, "You fucking idiot," if I drop the salt and things like that in the past. So it can get better. And I'm not perfect, and I still have moments. But if it proves in the pudding, and it's not a case that, you know, I was in anger management or anything like that, but there was times where I was considering it, because that's how irate I used to get. But that was because I'd be annoyed at general day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
When I see someone going absolutely ballistic in a car, you know, if they're effing and jeffing at you through a window, you can tell when someone's irate. I just think, fucking hell, mate, you must have had a bad day. Or your life must be pretty bad right now, if you're getting that annoyed that I've merged lanes while indicating, but I didn't do it at the pace that you required.
Yeah,
you know?
He's in his safe space, isn't he?
Well,
like,
yeah, but equally, it's just, it's really interesting.
Bringing that back to the awareness, that's what it does. So meditation will help you to become more self-aware. One of many benefits of meditation. So that's where I'd say, like you said, someone who's looking for extra edge on performance. And some gurus will say, "Oh, what are you wasting your time doing 10 minutes of meditation in the morning?" No, that's very important. Just having that time to focus on the breath is going to help you to become more self-aware and create moments in the day. You'll know when you're doing too much if you're on your laptop late at night. So you'll know when to shut the laptop, for example. You'll know when it's sort of getting past bedtime, you know, because you have that level of awareness.
Yeah.
So
100%.
And it takes time. You know, I'm not perfect. You know, there's a lot of things, especially now with children, that I wouldn't say testing me, but you know, 2 children on the age of 3, it's challenging. But you coming back to the breath. But there's times when I snapped. Then I shouted at him, "Okay, how can I learn from this?" And just journal on it. And you know, next day you go again.
So yeah, usually we have a couple of questions we're going to go through, but I think that one has been quite extensive, but I'm glad that we got to it, because I think it will be really useful for people, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, we've got a newish community launching on school.com, which is skool.com/A-Game. So if you'd like to join that, by all means hit the subscribe button, follow. It really helps the channel grow, and we'll look to see you next week.
Thanks, guys.